Okay, great. Hello, everyone. It is so great to be here and present Aqualitas, a new era of self-aware water quality sensors. And I want to welcome you to the water world, where the water treatment market is expected to double to almost $500 billion in the next decade. Our playing ground is in the intersection between two fast-growing segments of equipment and smart water that is expected to reach to $25 billion. But there is a problem. Water bodies all across the world are polluted and water companies are paying billions in fines. And not only that, but also the carbon footprint of water treatment is enormous. It is estimated that around 3% of the energy consumption goes toward treatment of wastewater alone. We are talking about an annual bleed of more than $4 billion only in the USA. So here you are probably wondering, what are they doing about it? So let me show you, it's like a horror story. So to eliminate these costs, companies that deal with water must know what the water contains at each stage. And they can do it today by installing real-time sensors that cost tens of thousands of dollars. But unfortunately, those sensors start to provide unreliable data soon after they are installed. And the easiest way to explain it is that when you put a sensor into contaminated water, the sensors also get contaminated and start to provide faulty data. But current sensors have no way to self-identify and report the problem when it occurs. They are what we call stupid sensors, stupid devices. So the common practice is to manually monitoring the sensors. And it is not really practical because the users never know what the true error is. And as a result, the operators do not trust the data that the sensors collecting, and they go back to do manual tests and eventually act based on their experience and their hunch. So we ask ourselves a question. What if sensors could become sentient, capable of identifying and compensating for faults when they occur, providing immediate and precise alerts of critical failure, and doing all of that at a fraction of existing costs, eliminating millions of dollars in losses? And this is exactly what we do in Aqualitas. We are developing the first self-aware multi-parameter IoT water quality sensors that performs autonomous self-calibration, requires the simplest of maintenance, and can provide reliable information. And all of that for an affordable price, and we already have paid pilots underway. Our sensors are installed in critical points across the water network, and they upload their data to our Aqua Insight cloud in real time, where our AI monitors the calibration health. And only at this stage, the accurate and precise data of both the water quality and the sensor health is transmitted to the operator on a web platform. So it can alert them of abnormal behavior, notify them when simple maintenance must be performed, and it will enable them to optimize their processes. Our first such platform is the UNUM. It has both advanced optics and multi-directional detection to collect unique data that we later use to train our AI models to separate between the measurement of the water and the contamination of the sensor. And the uniqueness of what we do at Aqualitas is the holistic approach of both the technology and the business model. That means that our modular platform achieves really low equipment cost. The smart algorithms prolong the sensor lifetime, and the cartridge-like swappable sensor allow for easy maintenance that everyone can perform. So all those attributes allow us to provide our solution as a service, which means for our customers, they have zero capital expenses and fixed and low operational expenses. So we minimize the risk of and we dramatically reduce their high expenses on monitoring. And the reliable data itself will enable them to reduce the bleed on both energy and chemicals. So for example, for wastewater treatment control, we can monitor critical parameters, provide alerts of anomalous behavior in real time, saving both energy and manpower. And in agriculture, we can monitor the water treatment process that is used for irrigation, and we can also provide information regarding the water fertilization status. So to achieve all of that, we have built a great multidisciplinary team of data scientists, water scientists, business experts in the water industry, and experts in sensory solutions. We are a portfolio company of the I4 Valley Incubator, and we have received 2 grants from the Israel Innovation Authority. Today we have several active pilots, among them monitoring of effluent in wastewater treatment plant and the effluent monitoring that is used for irrigation with company named Netafim, which is a global leader in drip irrigation. In the next 18 months, we will start penetration with our sentient sensors to the wastewater and agricultural sectors in Europe. And after that, we will add North America and additional algorithmic services to our solution that will cover all the treatment process. But eventually, we see ourselves everywhere in agriculture, in drinking water, even at our homes. So we are currently raising our seed round, and we basically invite you to join us in this new era of water equality and a safer future. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for the presentation. Let me bring the other panelists in here now. While I'm doing that, one quick question. What, if any, IP do you guys have? What protects you from doing this versus everyone else?
Yes, so we have applied for a PCT patent that will soon become a patent or go to the national stage on the unique part of our technology, which is basically using the data that the sensor collects to do the automatic calibration without stopping the process itself. And here comes the AI and the smart algorithms into play. And additionally, we have a lot of IP that is patentable in the near future.
Okay, Mathias, do you want to kick things off?
Yeah, thanks a lot for a great presentation. Can you elaborate a little bit on your go-to-market strategy? I mean, I saw three quite different verticals on one of the slides. Where is your beachhead market and how are you going to address it? Are you going to use resellers? Are you going to try to set up your own sales force? And maybe sort of a point to that. Who's the commercial lead in the team? It sounded very tech-heavy. I saw Technion for a number of the profiles on the team.
So can you repeat the second question?
Who's going to be the commercial lead in the team? I saw that most of the team members come from Technion, which is, of course, is amazing. But who's going to drive sales?
So actually, Matan Stroh is our head of BizDev. He was a vice president for many years in a big consulting company in Israel in the area of water. So he's very familiar with the water market, global water market, and worked with many of the big companies in the world. So this is, I hope, answers the second question. For the first question, sorry if you can repeat it into words.
Yeah, the go-to-market, basically. I mean,
the go-to-market, yes.
Verticals. Which of them are you going to bet on initially? Who's going to give you that initial sort of traction you're looking for?
Yeah, so we have started from the wastewater treatment facilities, basically monitoring the effluent. We are looking at currently at Europe. Basically, we are looking at territories where there is a good privatization of the treatment plants. So in Europe, we have around 30,000 plants, and many of them are privatized. So there are companies that basically operate those plants and really take care of the efficiency of the plants because it costs a lot of money for them. And they also operate a big amount of plants, usually not only one, when most of them are small plants, where it is especially problematic for them to monitor the water quality and provide good effluent as a first market. But in addition, we're also working, as I said, with Netafim, which is in the field of agriculture. Again, we're looking in quite a similar application of water treatment, but working with a company like Netafim that has representation in 120 countries so across the world and 2 million customers. Also could be a good platform for us. So on one side, it's partners. On the other side is basically resellers in each territory with whom we can work.
Yeah, thanks.
Aaron, you want to jump in?
Sure. Yep. Could you, I know you briefly touched on it just then. Could you please describe the pilots in a little bit more detail? And I don't know, the capacity to then convert them into sort of, maybe full-time paying contracts afterwards. And then just a touch on, it'd be really interesting to know how much you're actually raising for this round.
Sure. Yeah. So for the pilots, we are doing, I think about five pilots in the last 6 months. All of the pilots were chosen very strategically because, again, developing AI in a field where you have a very, very low amount of data, it's important to find partners that can provide you with a lot of data. So this was a very strategic consideration that we took the pilots. Some of them is with Mekorot. Mekorot is our global water company in Israel, so it is an important pilot for us. With Netafim, as I said, it is a good collaboration that we are looking into because they have a very specific problem in their systems that they want to be solved, and they see our solution as a solution for it. And we have several companies that we have some KPIs with them, and one of them already actually very interested in our solution and basically paying for the solution for them.
Okay, excellent. And the fundraise?
About the fundraise, so unfortunately I cannot disclose the amount currently because we are, in this forum, but I can disclose it privately. But let's say it's a standard amount for a company in stage.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so 1 or 2 million. What's the actual business model look like? How do you guys make money? What do you charge? What are your margins?
Yes. So as I said, we are doing monitoring as a service. Basically, customers, and our system is also designed in a very modular way. So the customer basically chooses how many parameters he needs to monitor in this system, how many systems he requires, and he pays per month for the use of the system. That basically doesn't pay for the hardware itself. The ROI on our side with a system would be between 3 to 4 months, depends on the amount of parameters that we choose. All the replaceable components are part of the pricing, basically we're already paying for it. Also the cloud platform and all the algorithms and so on. The beauty in this model is that the later stage would be to take the data and to develop with it additional algorithms that will be added, like a SaaS platform will be added as additional services for the customers to choose from. On the pricing point, so we are starting from $350 a month on the most basic plan, let's say, which is 3 parameters, and it's going up for depends on the parameters.
When do companies or wastewater treatment plants start to see savings? Where are the savings coming from, and how much are they actually saving?
Yeah, sure. So the energy is their largest cost. So it's, as I said, 3% of the total energy of a country goes toward wastewater treatment processes, especially in aeration, which is part of the process, but also the chemicals. So basically, this is where we are coming in. We don't look so much on the part of the regulation, but more on the part of the process. How do we improve? Gives the information to improve the process, and basically they can see ROI immediately, because using the data that is reliable, data that they can trust, they can immediately understand how to control their processes in a better way.
Mathias, Aaron, any follow-up? Yeah, no, raise your hands, just shout them out.
Yeah. How are you dealing with sort of servicing and maintenance and replacement of components? Are you going to do that, or how are you going to tackle that?
Yeah, so we designing our solution, our sensors, in a way that the components are what we call them single use. It doesn't sound very green, but it's actually much greener than what is happening today. So when our system cannot, when our AI cannot compensate anymore for the deviation of the measurement, we basically can identify it, send our customers a replaced component that he can replace himself. Basically taking one out, putting the other in. The ones that it takes out, it can send back to us for recalibration and using down the line for different applications.
Okay, clear. And I don't think you answered Matt's question on the margins.
Very good call. I missed that.
Yeah, sorry. The margins for
the product sale or manufacturing, basically, of the hardware.
For us, you mean?
Yeah.
So the ROI for a system would be between 3 to 4 months, and after that is basically everything is profit.
But once you're operating sort of at scale, what gross margin are you going to sort of deliver?
I think I have a problem in translation. Sorry.
Just on your income statement, what is sort of the profit you're making after you sell the hardware?
I see the gross profit. Would be again with scale of the equipment, because we are developing the hardware, producing the hardware itself as well, is around the gross profit around 70%.
Okay, that's pretty healthy. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you sold?
So a little bit lower than SaaS, than pure SaaS, but higher than hardware. So yeah.
What about the components? Have you sold enough components to meet demand for next year, or are there any critical components that are sort of locked up in sort of global supply chains at the moment, as we see in other manufacturing companies?
It's a part of the challenge today, and we are working around it again with also great Israeli startup that is actually, this is their main deal, to find components when they're missing.
Okay, so still some work to do there.
Yeah. It's always a challenge, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to check. Thanks.
What do you see as the biggest risk in the business? What could prevent you from being successful?
Yeah, so the water industry is known to be quite conservative, actually, which could be a big risk, because some of the processes could take a long time. Again, we're trying to intervene with these processes, so we are not going to again B2G, but we are preparing to go B2B because due to privatization, and we have this solution again. Part of the business model, which is a service, it means that the customers don't need to pay a big lump sum for the hardware. But this conservatism of the water companies could be difficult.
Yeah, utilities are never a fast sell.
Yes.
You have to survive long enough to not die to be able to sell these.